John Yamamoto. This is The Minute. The stock market fell further this morning following Monday's big sell-off. Both the S&P 500 and Dow Jones dipped more than 500 points in the early trading. The Nasdaq essentially stayed flat. Yesterday was the U.S. market's worst day this year as concerns grow over a tariff war. Former Democratic Congresswoman Katie Porter is entering the race for California governor. She's the biggest name so far in the race to succeed termed-out Governor Newsom. Former Vice President Kamala Harris not yet announced whether or not she will run. And today is day 2 of a strike by VTA employees in Santa Clara County. 1,500 workers are on the picket lines. Bus and light rail services are still not running. Employees are calling for more money and better workplace conditions. The VTA says it's made a fair offer. Bay Area's only primetime newscast at 8 and 9 p.m. on Pix Plus 44 Cable 12.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
It is going to be a beautiful afternoon as we are right in between storm systems, sandwiched in between them, and that's allowing us to enjoy one final day of sunshine. Southern California is getting in on quite a lot of rainfall, and the Pacific Northwest is beginning to see that next storm system moving in that will begin impacting us into tomorrow. So again, moral of the story, get out today and enjoy some quieter conditions. Before that large storm system arrives, you notice it comes along with a cold front. It will be bringing us a cool down tomorrow, widespread rainfall, and some gustier winds. And that's just the first in a series of storms. It will be bringing some lingering showers on Thursday before more heavy rain arrives our way. Friday, a brief break Saturday, and then more heavy rain on Sunday. So again, today, enjoy the sunnier skies. Closer to the coast, there is going to be a bit more of that fog, that marine layer holding on tight before the widespread rain arrives into early tomorrow morning. So likely going to be seeing some wet roadways for your early morning commute before the heavy band of rain officially moves in tomorrow afternoon. Anytime between 1 and 3, we are going to continue to see, again, downpours, gusty winds upwards of 40 to 55 miles an hour. So secure any loose outdoor objects today. They will blow away tomorrow. It will be a quick mover, though. By about 8 o'clock, most of that rain will be out of our hair. Not to say an isolated shower or two overnight can't be possible and into Thursday afternoon as well, but it's going to be a lot drier on Thursday compared to what we're expecting Wednesday. But again, that's just the first in a series of storm systems that will be heading our way, bringing us those very gusty winds tomorrow. Again, tomorrow is going to be the gustiest and the strongest of that system, upwards of 50 to 55 mile an hour gust. Over the next 7 days, though, we are going to continue to see quite a lot of that activity. So I hope you all can get out this afternoon, enjoy the upper 60s across our inland locations before the cool down and the rainier weather arrives tomorrow and continues into early next week.
Well, it's another tough day on Wall Street. The Dow dropped nearly 600 points today at the start of trading. Fears of a recession sent markets into a tailspin sparked by President Trump's comments over the weekend when he refused to rule out a recession. The Dow dropped nearly 900 points yesterday, and the Nasdaq saw its worst single-day decline since September of 2022 as concerns grow over a tariff war.
On-again, off-again tariffs, retaliations, cuts at the government, and it is making people feel concerned enough that we could see the economy slow down.
So are we headed to a recession? Well, according to our CBS News Money Watch correspondent, we're quite not there yet.
I do want to emphasize the data does not say we are in a recession. We still have a relatively healthy job market, an unemployment rate at 4.1%. And a lot of people have anxiety when you see these headlines. And what do? They maybe spend less. And then businesses don't do as well. And then that's something that could push you into a recession ultimately. But I just do want to emphasize the data doesn't say we're there yet.
This all comes as lawmakers on Capitol Hill are trying to head off a partial government shutdown at the end of the week. President Trump raising the stakes on the trade war this morning. He's doubling down on tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum to 50% from the previous 25% tariff that will go into effect tomorrow. China's retaliatory tariffs on multiple U.S. farm products are now in effect in response to Trump's 20% tariffs on almost all imports from China. And small businesses that sell Chinese goods in San Francisco are dealing with those sudden spikes. Our Kenny Choi shows us how mom and pop shops are absorbing some of those costs, but also just struggling to decide whether to increase prices.
Edward Lau and his employees precisely weigh herbal products, taking wholesale volumes and packaging them into smaller quantities, including these supplements.
It helps to, when people have a backache.
Is this one of those products that you import from China?
Yes, all these products come from China. All this is going to be affected by the tariff.
Profit margins for a small store like Lau's Ellison Enterprises on Washington Street in Chinatown are slim. They receive monthly shipments from China. The 10% tariff initiated in February, which doubled to 20% this month, has Lau adjusting the price for imported goods.
This ginseng powder, they originally sell for $88 a pound. So we will be selling that at least about $100 a pound.
But competition is fierce among similar stores in Chinatown. Lau can only absorb the hits for so long and has been hesitant to raise prices that will impact customers, many who are elderly.
The customer base is mostly from people who are living in a fixed income. So those people are going to be hit really hard.
The Trump administration has initiated tariffs primarily to address concerns over trade practices. The tariffs also aim to reduce the U.S. trade deficit with China and encourage domestic manufacturing by making Chinese imports more expensive. Chris DeRitis is deputy chief economist at Moody's Analytics.
Usually what happens is the cost of the tariffs to households and businesses in terms of higher prices more than offsets any potential benefit.
A macroeconomic issue that's affecting Lau right now.
Maybe in the long run, it could solve some kind of deficit problem, But in the short run, I don't know, it's going to be hurting people.
Lau says his options are to raise prices, which could ultimately lose business.
It's becoming more expensive, and people will start thinking about other alternatives, or maybe they're simply not using it.
Or hope prices will steady in an unpredictable time.
The uncertainty is very hard for doing business.
With no guarantees, this is the last round of tariffs.
Food banks on the brink with sweeping cuts and federal freezes set to slash funding for organizations already struggling to meet the demand. Last year, food banks across the state served more than 6 million people per month. That's according to the California Association of Food Banks. But the program that allocates the funding for those food banks is set to lose 87% of its funding this year. Our John Ramos visited the food bank at Contra Costa in Solano, where volunteers are not sure if they will be able to feed people going forward.
Legend has it that before the French Revolution, Marie Antoinette was warned that the peasants were starving because they had no bread, to which she replied, "Then let them eat cake." Those words have become a symbol of how oblivious leaders can be to the plight of the poor, and now it looks like history may be repeating itself.
Thank you. One bag or two? Two for your onions? Yes.
At the weekly food giveaway outside Concord's Monument Crisis Center, you can see who the have-nots are. And shockingly, they look a lot like our grandparents.
It climbed measurably during the pandemic, and then it climbed after that, after the support kind of went away. And 2 weeks ago, our crowd here was, 40 or 50 people more than we had been getting. So the numbers are climbing already. Do you want another one too?
Vicki Schrabel is a regular volunteer for the Food Bank of Contra Costa and Solano. She's watched as the number of people who need food has grown, and that's why news of government budget cuts are so disturbing to her.
It worries me to pieces. Before this, food insecurity and housing insecurity were our two biggest challenges, and if the funding gets cut off for that, we've got families and individuals and kids and older folks who aren't going to have food to eat.
At the food bank's headquarters, it comes down to dollars and cents. While community donations are important, most of the food handed out is purchased at a discount from farmers and distributors, like these potatoes that were donated, but the food bank had to pay to transport them from Washington State. Food Bank CEO Caitlin Sly says it's the kind of thing that will be halted with the federal government's freeze on FEMA's Emergency Food and Shelter Program.
We are looking at potential cuts. We've already seen some cuts, and the way that could potentially impact the people we serve is really dire.
But it's not just the Trump administration. The state of California is also proposing to cut by 87% the amount it spends to feed the needy through the CalFood program.
This was state funding that was really increased during the pandemic and now is going back to pre-pandemic levels, but the need has not gone back to pre-pandemic levels.
Much of the relief funds are distributed through United Way Bay Area, and Vice President Laura Escobar says the cuts will have real consequences.
So if there'll be more demand, there'll be more people lining up, and there will be hunger. Kids will go to bed hungry. Adults will give their food to their kids, and they will go to bed hungry. It will happen.
Back at the Crisis Center, Vicki says she doesn't believe the government, on any level, is really thinking about how this is affecting people.
I'm horrified. If we can't take care of the people in our communities who need food and support, then what are we doing as a society? So,
as the desperation of the poor grows, it's not enough just to tell them to eat cake. And for those wealthy enough to think it's not their problem, just remember how things worked out for Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, off with her head. In Contra Costa and Solano counties, along with the food bank, distributes enough food to provide more than 2.7 million meals each month. They are encouraging anyone who wants to donate money during these uncertain times to call or visit their website. It's day 2 of the VTA workers' strike in Santa Clara County. 1,500 employees are on the picket lines, putting the brakes on the light rail and bus service in the South Bay. The workers' contract expired a week ago. The union says VTA's offer of a 9% pay raise over 3 years is not enough.
VTA is not offering us a competitive wage. There's a lot of people struggling with families that can barely make rent, and a lot of drivers that actually live in their cars because they can't qualify to get a simple studio apartment in this county.
VTA says giving union drivers the raise they want would cripple the system, resulting in service and job cuts. About 100,000 people use VTA every day. Now some of them are getting creative just to get around.
I had to get a ride from one of my friends, and now I have to wait until my friend gets off of work. It's literally a whole day just to go to one doctor's appointment.
Yeah, it's very difficult for me to go without a bus. It will be very much useful to if it is established soon. So I may be opting to go from home.
Well, it's unclear how long the strike is going to last. There's no contract talks scheduled between the drivers' union and VTA, at least not scheduled. Well, the public health official who guided the South Bay through the COVID-19 pandemic announced her retirement today. This comes 5 years after the World Health Organization declared the pandemic. Dr. Sara Cody served as Santa Clara County's health officer for the past 12 years. She issued the nation's first stay-at-home order in 2020 after the first deaths were reported in the South Bay.
I have issued a legal order banning events with more than 1,000 people in attendance. This order will take effect at 12 a.m. on Wednesday, March 11th, and will remain in place for 3 weeks.
Dr. Cody says now is the right time to pass the baton to the next set of public health leaders. Her retirement is effective in April. Still ahead on CBS News Bay Area Beyond Soccer, why PayPal Park could become the Bay Area's newest hotspot for music. Plus the exodus from California to Texas, we take a look at why the trend may be accelerating.
Whatever you can afford to buy, they'll have it here.
And dogs are great for many reasons. Now one Bay Area school has figured out a way they can help students.
I think that animals can really sense when people can use, their interaction and their connection.
How 2 lucky pups are navigating the halls of high school along with teens who need a boost.
out today, enjoy one quiet day before a very active weather pattern begins tomorrow. It's going to be above average this afternoon with a good amount of sunshine. Tomorrow, though, some gusty winds, some heavy downpours will be moving in throughout the afternoon hours. Secure any loose outdoor objects today, or they will blow away tomorrow. A few isolated showers lingering Thursday, but it will be a lot drier Thursday before even more heavy rain arrives Friday, a break Saturday, more rain Sunday. Keep an umbrella handy. You're going to need it.
Well, the Earthquake soccer team is looking to expand the kinds of events they can host at PayPal Park in San Jose. They have submitted paperwork to amend their current permits and allow concerts in addition to sporting events. Amanda Harris spoke to people in the area about the impact of up to 15 more events a year at that venue.
There are already many different events that happen at PayPal Park, in addition to it being the home of the Earthquakes and the women's soccer team, Bay FC. Still, many days look like this, quiet and empty. The soccer club is hopeful that this will allow them to utilize the space more. The Earthquake Soccer Club has submitted paperwork to the city of San Jose to update their current permits, making PayPal Park also a concert venue. In the proposal, they say it will have an economic benefit for local businesses. Owner of Chicken Drip, Zach Hamadeh, agrees.
So it'll definitely be very good for us. We already see an incline in sales whenever there's a game going on over here.
Chicken Drip is walking distance from PayPal Park, located just across the street. He says on game days, they often see a 10% increase in sales. Hamadeh is hoping concerts will expose new customers to his business.
Every concert will have different demographics.
This comes at a time when the city is preparing for multiple major events in 2026. The area is already slated to host the Super Bowl, several FIFA World Cup matches, and NCAA men's college basketball tournament games. Mayor Matt Mahan is supportive and says the concerts could be an opportunity for the venue to show it can handle an array of events. Quote, the San Jose Earthquakes are taking an exciting step forward on the march to 2026. All of our incredible facilities, including PayPal Park, are going to be ready to host fan experiences for residents and visitors from around the world next year as we redefine entertainment in the capital of Silicon Valley. But Hamadeh admits there will be some drawbacks.
The only problem that there usually is when there's games is right after the game when everybody's leaving, or right before the game when everybody's coming in. This whole area is kind of blocked off because there's only one entrance and one exit. Like the car line goes all the way down to the second light over there.
He says some of his regular customers avoid the area on game days, but new customers make up for that loss. Overall, he's hopeful the Earthquakes will get approval.
I'm excited about more events because at the end of the day, it does draw more customers.
City staff will now review the permit amendment. The Earthquakes say they're going to conduct a sound study as well as have community meetings to meet with the neighbors.
Well, big changes. The Niners in the first day of free agency yesterday, fullback Kyle Juszczyk has been told that he will be released. The longest tenured Niner made the Pro Bowl in all 8 of his seasons right here in the Bay Area. Niners are also losing linebacker Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Funga to Denver, and cornerback Mooney Ward has agreed to a 3-year deal with the Colts. Steph Curry making history, but not for the reasons you might think. He's joining his alma mater to become the assistant general manager for Davidson's college basketball teams. He becomes the first active player in the NBA also to take an administrative job with a college team. Curry says he wants to invest in student athletes attending the North Carolina school. As for whether he will miss any games, Warriors coach Steve Kerr joked that he will probably say no to any requests, that he hopes that he, Curry, does not ask. 7 students at Sonoma State University have filed a lawsuit against the school to try to stop cuts to athletics and other programs. The attorney representing the students argues the university violated legal requirements by failing to consult students, staff, and coaches before making the cuts. The lawsuit demands the school reverse its decisions, claiming its cuts will not actually save the millions, the university claims.
Just to consult with the interested parties. Here, this would be the students, obviously the professors, the staff, the coaches that are, employees, some of them longtime employees of the school, and none of that happened.
Well, the school now faces a $24 million budget shortfall. We reached out to the university's interim president for a comment on the lawsuit, are still waiting to hear back. Popular San Francisco bakery is taking over Union Square, a kiosk that was recently abandoned by celebrity chef Tyler Ford's. B Patisserie will open later this month. The bakery had a temporary pop-up last month at the kiosk during the NBA All-Star Weekend. B Patisserie opened its first bakery in Pacific Heights in 2013. It's actually really good. OpenAI officially opened its new headquarters in the Mission Bay neighborhood. The grand opening marks a major commitment to the city with plans to grow from 2,000 to 4,000 employees in the coming years. City leaders, including the mayor, Daniel Lurie, are hopeful that OpenAI's presence will boost the local economy. But one expert tells us OpenAI's move is a positive sign for the city's role as a tech hub. However, she urges the city to diversify its economy, pointing out that relying solely on AI could limit long-term growth.
We are sort of the tech epicenter of the country, and I think that we should harness that and we should invest in that and make sure that we retain that sort of standing. But I think it's really important to also not bet all of our cards on one industry and make sure that we're sort of distributing it across other sectors that can continue pushing our economy forward.
AI companies now occupy 8% of San Francisco office space, a number expected to grow by the end of 2025. In the next 2 decades, Texas is projected to have the largest population in the country, knocking California from the top spot. Claudette Stefanian shows us how homebuyers are now finding new reasons to leave the Golden State behind.
I lived in California for 44 years.
Marcia Penrod is one of many who decided to leave her home in California and make the move to Texas.
Whatever you can afford to buy, they'll have it here.
Realtor.com compiled data on Texas's growth and highlighted these key takeaways. Over the past 10 years, Texas has added more residents than any other state. Driving factors include cheaper housing, more jobs, and climate. Texas is the fastest growing state in the country. Specifically, Texas is building more affordable housing than the rest of the country. Texas is seeing the fastest job growth in the U.S. More than 1 in 4 people shopping for homes are from Texas. We sat down with real estate broker Tricia Rossi, who says there's no mistaking it. She's seeing the exodus with her own 2 eyes.
I mean, I went to a listing appointment last week going to Texas. Where are you going? Texas. Where are you going? Texas.
And the reason behind the trend isn't just about home buyers.
So another driver for Texas is tech, right? What we're seeing out of Silicon Valley is now moving into the Austin area.
Fire insurance also playing a role in people's decision-making process.
I mean, probably one of our first points of conversation when interviewing a buyer to talk about relocating to this area, the first thing we're talking about now is fire insurance. We never talked about that first before.
Despite the report, Rossi says Californians are still too loyal to the state, and that's what's keeping housing costs high.
I bought an investment property in 2018. It has tripled in value today. The growth and the potential in the California market still is so strong.
Well, still ahead, a new experiment to calm students' nerves at San Francisco High School, all with the help of 2 dogs in disguise.
Can't help putting a smile to your face when you see these 2 dogs.
going to be seeing today, breezy, nothing crazy, 15 to 20 mile an hour wind gusts. Tomorrow morning, those winds will really begin to pick up 30 to 40 miles an hour before that line of stronger rain and gustier winds arrives. 50+ mile an hour wind gusts are likely, especially closer to our coastal communities and over our South Bay. And then that quick moving again. Nothing by later Tuesday or Wednesday evening and into early Thursday, as we are going to be seeing that first in a series of storm systems moving across the Bay Area Wednesday and into early Thursday. But look in the distance, that next storm will be arriving. It's going to bring us even more rain into Friday, a brief break Saturday before more rain Sunday and into Monday. So by the time things are all said and done early next week, 4 to 5 inches across the Santa Cruz Mountains, 3 to 4 inches across our North Bay communities, 1 to 2 inches for our inland areas. We'll take what we can get, though, because we love the rain. We need it. We will take it for as long as we can get it. And the good news is flooding threats are relatively low because we're looking at breaks in between the activity each and every day. So yes, there is the chance for a little bit of coastal flooding, low-lying area, but things to keep in mind. Enjoy the sunshine today. Back to you.
Well, school can be overwhelming sometimes. In fact, the CDC says nearly 40% of high school students in America experience a persistent feeling of sadness. But as our Itai Hodge shows us, some campuses in San Francisco have found a way to help.
High school can be a jungle. Students rushing to class, stressed and overwhelmed. But one campus in San Francisco found a way to tame the beast.
Oh my God.
With a pair of pooches dressed as tigers.
Hi, cutie.
Meet Luna and Brixton, 2 therapy dogs who aren't just cute. They're the ultimate stress busters, sinking their teeth into anxiety and helping students pounce over the finish line.
Can't help putting a smile to your face when you see these 2 dogs.
Aksh Varma, a senior at Lick Wilmerding High School, says these dogs have given students here a much-needed pause from the chaos and pressure of student life.
One lunch period just changes the entire momentum of a day, whether it's having a bad day to a good day or a good day to an even better day.
For years, therapy dogs have comforted hospital patients and calmed kindergartners. Now high schools are discovering what wagging tails and wet noses can do for stressed out teenagers, especially around midterms and finals. Turns out, quite a lot. Studies show these canine counselors can reduce stress, boost learning, even improve attendance.
It really helps kind of bring joy and lightness to campus.
School counselor Yuka Hachiyuma says these dogs are more than just classroom pets. They're changing the way students connect with each other.
It's kind of a ripple effect. You see people start noticing, and then you just see more smiles.
There are some concerns associated with pet therapy, including safety, allergies, and hygiene. That hasn't stopped schools from booking these dogs over and over.
We get requests almost on a daily basis.
Tina Mitchell from the SFSPCA says Luna and Brixton have an instinct for spotting students who need them the most.
I think the animals can really sense when people can use their interaction and their connection.
In the jungle of high school, Luna and Brixton are a reminder that sometimes a little belly rub is all you need to unleash your stress.
Well, coming up our next half hour in CBS News Bay Area, welcome sight in the Bay Area after a dry start to the year. We're going to take you to Uvas Canyon in the South Bay, where waterfalls are flowing once again throughout the park. Plus, a bunny boom at the East Bay shelter, how you can help them fight overcrowding without committing to a new pet for good.
He just looks so dramatic and so adorable. How can you not love this guy?
Brian Yamamoto, and this is The Minute. Well, the stock market fell further today following Monday's big sell-off, with the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones dipping more than 700 points in early trading. The Nasdaq essentially stayed flat. Yesterday was the U.S. market's worst day this year as concerns grow over a tariff war. Classes are back in session today for 2 elementary schools in Sonoma County. Hundreds of students evacuated yesterday after some sort of threat. This happened at Harmony Elementary and Salmon Creek Elementary. They say the father of a student is now under arrest. And the sale of the Oakland Coliseum could be finalized this morning. The vote was stalled last Thursday after Alameda County supervisors requested additional documents from the African American Sports and Entertainment Group. Those documents arrived Friday, clearing the way for a decision. I'm Brian Yamamoto. This is The Minute.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
It is going to be a beautiful afternoon as we are right in between storm systems, sandwiched in between them, and that's allowing us to enjoy one final day of sunshine. Southern California is getting in on quite a lot of rainfall, and the Pacific Northwest is beginning to see that next storm system moving in that will begin impacting us into tomorrow. So again, moral of the story, get out today and enjoy some quieter conditions. Before that large storm system arrives, you notice it comes along with a cold front. It will be bringing us a cool down tomorrow, widespread rainfall, and some gustier winds. And that's just the first in a series of storms. It will be bringing some lingering showers on Thursday before more heavy rain arrives our way Friday, a brief break Saturday, and then more heavy rain on Sunday. So again, today, enjoy the sunnier skies. Closer to the coast, there is going to be a bit more of that fog, that marine layer holding on tight before the widespread rain arrives into early tomorrow morning. So likely going to be seeing some wet roadways for your early morning commute before the heavy band of rain officially moves in tomorrow afternoon. Anytime between 1 and 3, we are going to continue to see, again, downpours, gusty winds upwards of 40 to 55 miles an hour. So secure any loose outdoor objects today. They will blow away tomorrow. It will be a quick mover, though. By about 8 o'clock, most of that rain will be out of our hair. Not to say an isolated shower or two overnight can't be possible and into Thursday afternoon as well, but it's going to be a lot drier on Thursday compared to what we're expecting Wednesday. But again, that's just the first in a series of storm systems that will be heading our way, bringing us those very gusty winds tomorrow. Again, tomorrow is going to be the gustiest and the strongest of that system, upwards of 50 to 55 mile an hour gust. Over the next 7 days, though, we are going to continue to see quite a lot of that activity. So I hope you all can get out this afternoon, enjoy the upper 60s across our inland locations before the cool down and the rainier weather arrives tomorrow and continues into early next week.
Well, one of the benefits of our rain this winter is the rushing waterfalls around the Bay Area. Our Mary Lee shows us where the falls are flowing once again in Santa Clara County.
I'm here at Uvas Canyon County Park where the waterfalls are rushing right now. You know, it was a completely different story just 2 months ago when everything was just so dry out here. But now the creeks have risen, the waterfalls are flowing, all thanks to our recent rain. I got a special tour from one of the park rangers out here to give you an up-close look at the waterfalls.
So we can walk right up and get to the trailhead from over that way.
Park Ranger Jesse Baptista is grateful Uvas Canyon County Park is where he gets to spend his day at work.
I love the outdoors. I love working in the parks. I grew up hiking, I grew up camping, fishing. And so being able to turn all my fun hobbies into a career, but in a protection type of way, I mean, I can't think of a better career than that. So we're gonna see some really beautiful waterfalls. We're going to see some flowing of the creek. It's going to be really nice, especially on a day like this where it's still a little misty. We just had some rain. Everything is wet. This is the best environment for redwood forest to thrive in.
He's taking us on a tour of one of his favorite Santa Clara County parks, calling it a hidden gem.
So this is one of our waterfalls, the Ganuya Falls.
After a dry start to winter, heavy rain in February helped replenish water supplies to local reservoirs. That rain also flows down the eastern slopes of the Santa Cruz Mountains, bringing an abundance of rushing waterfalls here to the park.
Oh, it's flowing. Like I said, I mean, the water levels are really high, and some of the creek crossings, you might get your feet wet. And then if we get to the mouth and the end, you'll see where it kind of starts to puddling up. So it was a drastic change going from totally dry to tons of water.
For Jesse, these waterfalls are not just beautiful, but show how our recent rain is restoring everything that lives and grows here, helping this beautiful park come alive.
And if you want to check out the Uvas Canyon County Park waterfalls, you need a reservation to hike in the park. Well, sobering times for California's wine industry. Some growers have no choice but rip out their vines as demand dips. The Department of Agriculture says the amount of grapes crushed to make wine is the lowest it's been in 2 decades. It's down 24% over just last year. Experts are now recommending that growers rip out 33,000 acres of grapevines across the state to make the industry more viable.
I know for a lot of growers, it's pretty devastating, and I think it's a reflection of where we're at in the wine industry, and the lack of consumers purchasing our product means the wineries don't need as many grapes.
Experts say demand for wine is also drying up, with younger generations drinking less than baby boomers. And animal rescue in Richmond is getting overcrowded with dozens of rabbits. Our Julia Goodrich went there to see how they are trying to find a good home for these bunnies.
Welcome to the Hop Shop.
These are rabbits who literally just came from the shelter. Yeah, this is everybody who we currently have. So you can see, yay, lots of rabbits in foster, which is fantastic. But we obviously still have quite a number of rabbits here in the main room, our habitat rooms, and then R&R stands for rehab and recovery.
The House Rabbit Society is in Richmond, where they are seeing a bunny boom.
One of the biggest issues that we deal with here in the Bay Area is that there's a lack of pet-friendly housing. And so often people are moving, they can't find a place that accepts pets, and so they're having to give up their pet. And so that's a big reason why rabbits are ending up in shelters.
They have rabbits to adopt and rabbits to foster. Fostering is for 2 weeks at a time.
Some people have more allergies to the Timothy hay.
Sarah is from Santa Rosa and is adopting for the first time.
Well, we're trying to find a pet to start off with, and our apartment we live in doesn't allow cats.
She says she saw a photo of Pineapple Barbecue, yes, that's his name, online, and that was it for her. She just had to have him. And if you do see a couple of bunnies just hanging out together, they are bonded and come as a package deal. So in this case, you would need to take home all 3. And yes, they are all spayed and neutered.
They can have babies every 28 days. We dealt with a case last year where someone ended up with 110 rabbits.
Oh, wow. You're welcome to walk in, walk around, and just look, but don't expect to hop away empty-handed. Yes, they are just that cute.
Bye. Happy Easter. That was a bad joke.
House Rabbit Society was founded back in 1988. They have just 4 full-time and 4 part-time staffers. Last year, they adopted out 118 rabbits. If you are interested in fostering some rabbits, they have free online classes about rabbit care, and they will even send you all the supplies to make it happen. Coming up next, we're going to meet 2 sisters who started their own business to make women feel better, feel their best, how a program at the South Bay is helping not only their shop, but their souls thrive.
You have to be okay personally in order for your business to grow.
Get out today, enjoy one quiet day before a very active weather pattern begins tomorrow. It's going to be above average this afternoon with a good amount of sunshine. Tomorrow, though, some gusty winds, some heavy downpours will be moving in throughout the afternoon hours. Secure any loose outdoor objects today, or they will blow away tomorrow. A few isolated showers lingering Thursday, but it will be a lot drier Thursday before even more heavy rain arrives Friday, a break Saturday, more rain Sunday. Keep an umbrella handy. You're going to need it.
Well, all month long, we're celebrating Women's History Month and empowerment. Today, we are highlighting two sisters starting up their own beauty shop in San Jose. They had hair and makeup perfected, but didn't have the business know-how. Our Len Ramirez shows us how these two sisters brushed up their skills, all thanks to a local nonprofit.
Welcome to KK Visage.
At KK Visage in San Jose, sisters Carla and Kenya are doing a beauty shop their way. That means clients can get the works all at once.
We are one of the few salons that can do this.
While Carla applies the
Good
makeup,
at working together. So
Kenya styles the hair. Their unique approach comes from a sisterly bond and a life story of always sticking together. And in this business, it helps to get birthday girls to the ball and brides to the altar on time.
our clients are ready within an hour.
The sisters went into business together with a dream, but not a lot of long-range planning. In fact, they started out of Kenya's car.
She didn't know how to drive, so I was the Uber, and I had to take her to every appointment. So I waited in the car like 1 hour or two, and then she's like, you should join me and start doing hairstyles. And that's how I started. We were traveling from place to place for our appointments since we didn't have a place. And at some point, we did not have a car, so we would even take the bus to our appointments. We even had clients pick us up because they offered.
It seemed like they were hitting the fast lane. They moved into this brick and mortar on Santa Clara Street. Then the pandemic hit.
It's been hard sometimes because not all the time we were booked.
Through scary times and hard work, the shop survived. But then they seemed to hit a wall.
I think we hit a point where we were stuck. We didn't know how to grow from here.
Then they heard about a special business program for women entrepreneurs called Motivate, Educate, and Empower, better known as the ME program. It goes beyond traditional business mentoring.
A holistic approach, how to keep yourself healthier, how to balance your work life.
It's part of the Prosperity Lab for small businesses, but this one focused on the unique post-pandemic challenges faced by females.
We had women calling that were trying to run their business and have their kids going to school in the same room. So, you had women trying to do a retail shop, a tailor shop, a store, while also trying to raise the children. And most of them, even though we have moms and dads, most of them felt to women.
Carla and Kenya were part of the first cohort and graduated out of the program in December.
The ME program taught us that you have to be okay personally in order for your business to grow.
And they're taking the lessons learned and playing it forward, but still keeping it in the family by helping their mother, who's an event planner, and their little sister, who makes and sells her own custom jewelry.
When our clients sit in our chair, they get a boost of confidence because they feel like the best versions of themselves, and that's where our work pays off.
They've realized that they don't have to do it all alone, and that there is strength and wisdom in seeking helping hands.
You look good.
Well, coming up, Ringo Starr has gone country. He's celebrating his new album with a concert exclusively on CBS. The Bay Area musician who got to play along for the big night.
to be seeing today, breezy, nothing crazy, 15 to 20 mile an hour wind gusts. Tomorrow morning, those winds will really begin to pick up 30 to 40 miles an hour before that line of stronger rain and gustier winds arrives. 50+ mile an hour wind gusts are likely, especially closer to our coastal communities and over our South Bay. And then that quick moving again. Nothing by later Tuesday or Wednesday evening and into early Thursday, as we are going to be seeing that first in a series of storm systems moving across the Bay Area Wednesday and into early Thursday. But look in the distance, that next storm will be arriving. It's going to bring us even more rain into Friday, a brief break Saturday before more rain Sunday and into Monday. So by the time things are all said and done early next week, 4 to 5 inches across the Santa Cruz Mountains, 3 to 4 inches across our North Bay communities, 1 to 2 inches for our inland areas. We'll take what we can get, though, because we love the rain. We need it. We will take it for as long as we can get it. And the good news is flooding threats are relatively low because we're looking at breaks in between the activity each and every day. So yes, there is the chance for a little bit of coastal flooding, low-lying area, but things to keep in mind. Enjoy the sunshine today. Back to you.
Well, Ringo Starr took over country's music's biggest stage in a 2-hour special with little help from his friends. One of them, the Bay Area's very own Molly Tuttle. Elizabeth Cook has more from the big night.
2 trees in the forest, one was crooked, one was straight. Crimson bark and emerald needles. When Molly Tuttle came home for Christmas, she told us a little secret.
I'm going to be hopping up with Ringo Starr in January. He's playing in Nashville, so that's going to be really fun. I played on his new record that's coming out.
The secret is out. Molly is a featured guest on country music's biggest stage with the legendary former Beatle. She spoke exclusively with Anthony Mason on CBS Mornings.
I don't know when I've ever worked on, practice something more. I was like, I have to do a good job.
Are you ready to have some fun? Are you ready to hear some good music?
The 2-hour special Ringo and Friends at the Ryman was recorded at the historic venue back in January. The all-star lineup features some of music's hottest names, including Molly, Sheryl Crow, Jack White, Larkin Poe, The Warren Treaty, and Emmylou Harris.
What do you see when you turn out the light? I can't tell you, but I know it's mine.
The once-in-a-lifetime event features some of Ringo's solo hits, Beatles classics, and some songs off his new country album.
Well, you just heard a little help from my friends. Proceeds from this all-star version will support the American Red Cross and those impacted by the California wildfires. The special is now streaming on Paramount+. Thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. We'll be right back with your First Alert forecast and a look at your top stories.